look at the next stage, which is about your content marketing plan, it's also how you can get found and how you communicate, in particular, your personal branding and how you can eloquently talk about IDC, but also your brand as well. So we believe in 411, which is basically a proven social media content marketing strategy across Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn, particularly LinkedIn. And what 411 is one hard sell post. That's if I talked about black marketing, that's a hard sell post. One soft sell post, if I talked about LinkedIn, or I talked about content marketing or personal branding, but didn't mention black marketing, that's what they call a soft sell post. And then 4 unrelated posts. So I did a post this morning, for example, about Marina Bay Sands, which didn't mention my company or what I do. So that would be considered a soft sell post, so an unrelated post, because I'm sharing something that's interesting that people can relate to in Singapore, but I'm not marketing my product. And that gives me permission to do the hard sell post. So you should never just do the hard sell post all the time. So don't just share IDC content the whole time. Because if you do that, people will still unfollow you or basically hide your feed, and you won't even know. You'll just basically have a missed opportunity to actually sell to them, actually have that ability to hard sell. So you have to basically look at your content marketing strategy and say, okay, what genuine content can I share that's of value to our followers that they might share, they might engage with, and then gives me permission to do my hard sell post about IDC and what I do IDC. So you really have to think it through in terms of how you do that. So you should blog, you should share, and you should look at things like customer experience. So Eva, for example, is quite famous. You might have all seen this. They're doing this post about Grab, which is absolutely fantastic. Over 300,000 views, 220,000 likes, 271 comments about the people also saying Grab is crap. So it's ironic you're having Grab food at the back. Did it come on time? Just checking. Did it go around the charge you $25 and surcharges and all the rest of it? But it's that's powerful because I'm sure you're aware. Eva met Anthony Tan as a result of it. So it's powerful in terms of people sit up and look at it. If you get 300,000 views about customer complaint, which is backed up by 2,000 other people also saying, yeah, that was terrible service, people can take notice. So, but it's also, that's nothing to do with IDC. So she was able to talk to Anthony about IDC, but this is not about IDC. Another example is, for example, I went to a restaurant in Asia Square, Japanese restaurant, and they basically served me Perrier champagne in a Moet and Chandon glass. So of course, as a branding person, I'm going, what on earth are you doing that for? So I took a picture of it, and I actually asked them, why are you doing that? And legitimately, they told me, we hadn't smashed all the Moet and Chandon glasses. And I said, well, what do you mean? You mean you do have Perrier glasses? Yeah, this lovely Perrier glasses with the little pink things on, the Perrier branding. We've only used them yet, though, because we haven't smashed all the other ones. It's like, oh, God. So you can imagine people having Instagram pictures with Moet and Chandon glasses with Perrier champagne inside. And I did this post with like 50,000 views. More importantly, the brand director at Perrier saw it and rang me up and said, name the restaurant, and there's a crate of champagne on its way to you. So before she said crate of champagne, I named the restaurant, it was on its way to me. She had word with them, and they basically the restaurant smashed all the glasses. But it happens time and time and time again. I get served, when I go for beer, I get served like, Belgian beers in a Peroni glass. And when I ask, for example, they say, well, we don't have a glass that fits the Belgian beer, so we're going to put it in a Peroni glass. I say, oh my God, how do you put a Belgian beer in an Italian beer's brand? These glasses are designed for a reason in particular ways. So that's just like customer service, customer training. But you do have to be yourself as well. It's about personal branding. So I went to Tokyo in December, and it's a Sunday. So normally a terrible day to actually post anything on LinkedIn as well. And this happened, different story. So this is very, very famous picture because it generated 5 clients. So this is a picture of the Ritz-Carlton. So I went to the Ritz-Carlton in Hong Kong, and I was staying there, and they said, your room's not ready. So they apologized profusely and said you could use the boardroom for the next whole week. I was like, oh, that's amazing, for free? That's incredible. So basically, my clients came up there very impressed with the boardroom, the highest hotel in the world. And they basically, I won clients as a result of it. This is incredible. I wasn't paying for it. So I did a post about how great the Ritz-Carlton's customer service was, which did not mention my company, did not mention anything about why I was actually in Hong Kong. I think I got like 54,000 views, and lots of other people saying how amazing it was. Now, most importantly, Rico de Blanc, who's the guy in white here, actually saw it. And he was so impressed, and he is the CEO of the company that owns the Ritz-Carlton in Hong Kong, that he basically wanted a meeting. And he became a client as a result of it, because he said, "Is one picture like that can get 54,000 views. Imagine what I can do, talk about purpose and passion, talk about how we employ people, talk about our customer service." And he was so amazed. So we actually got the clients of the Ritz-Carlton in Hong Kong, the Ritz-Carlton in Shanghai, the W Hotel in Hong Kong, and so forth as a result of it. And we also managed Rico's profile. So we got 5 clients from one picture which didn't mention our company. So that would be one of the unrelated posts. So it doesn't always have to be related to your company. You'll get basically engagement. Basically, you better just come across as being authentic. So this is the one I'm talking about in terms of the airport. I got stopped at Tokyo Airport, and they literally, I kid you not, they went through all my books, and they opened them all up. And they were going like this. They're obviously watching these kind of spy movies going, "Oh, where's the dagger? Where's the drugs? Where's the guns?" They're expecting some hollowed out part of the book or something like that, I think it was. So they literally went through the whole thing. Now, book by book, they'd obviously never seen anybody kind of come in with some books. And then they even asked me, the best thing was they asked me, "Is this my book?" So by this stage, I was a bit pissed off. I was going, "Really? How many other people with a mohawk have come through Tokyo Airport the last couple of days?" And I took a picture. They told me off for taking a picture, but by the time they told me off, I'd actually posted it to LinkedIn. It was too late. But it was just a classic picture. They had no idea. But I did actually give them all a book afterwards, and they basically went, "Wait, what on earth is LinkedIn?" Because people in Japan don't use LinkedIn. So they're oblivious to it. But it got lots of views. The interesting thing was we got 89 comments. Lots of other people who also been stopped at other airports across the whole world, many of whom had got books. Lots of authors basically said the same thing. So we get stopped because there's so much concern about books in different places. There's some things hidden in books that people get, drugs or whatever. But there was one guy who actually is a Singaporean resident. He's been stopped 49 times coming to Changi Airport. And he told the story on there, 49 times, bloody hell. I really think you're suspicious. But it's a great story because it empathises with other people who've been to airports. And it was on a Sunday. And what I find in a Sunday and a Saturday is that multinationals do not post. But people are still looking for content because it's still a social media platform. So if you're an entrepreneur, like myself, and you're posting, you'll get more share of voice because multinationals don't post basically only post on weekdays. So think about that in terms of your posting schedule. When should you post? Don't post when everybody else posts. Post it on more obscure times, which has more share of voice. And be observational as well. So I did a Gojek when the adverts started, and I got like 10,000 views. So I was putting an advert there about Gojek coming to town, for example. You can also basically talk about a story that people relate to. So on Chinese New Year, for example, I should have been with my partner in Malaysia with her Chinese family, celebrating, and I was working, and I got food poisoning as a result of it. So I did a post about being in hospital. And I told a story. I made it about a business story because it kind of crossed the line slightly, and talked about how the fact that I was still working, but also the fact that the guy next to me was actually having a heart attack, a real heart attack. And I was going, "Okay, I've got food poisoning. I believe now." But I love the way that basically the doctor, the Singaporean doctor, actually was very, very focused with him. Says, "You're having a heart attack. It's really, really serious. We need to do this, 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 and this, and then you'll be fixed again. You'll be much, much better. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how you can prevent yourself having a heart attack in the future." Oh, that's amazing. That's Singaporean healthcare taken care of just in one fell swoop. It's brilliant. But basically shared that, and it got like 40,000 views and millions of comments and likes. Even on Chinese New Year, even when people actually were not working, because people are still looking for those kind of stories. And people can empathize. Everyone's been in hospital, everyone's had food poisoning, so everyone's going to empathize with that. And also the business thing about perspective was actually quite good. And then if you meet interesting people, like I tend to take pictures when I meet people, for example, because people like that on LinkedIn. So don't underestimate taking pictures with the people and then sharing it, because people like to see you with other people on LinkedIn. It's just a natural thing. You'll get thousands of views. You can also do crowdsourcing. So that's really, really interesting. Do not underestimate LinkedIn as a research tool. So if you want to test something out there, put it out to LinkedIn, you'll get great feedback. Good example is when we launched Rockstar. I was born on Christmas Day, so I launched on Christmas Day, kind of New Year's Day time. And I got design kind of a website to actually come up with some designs. And I put all the designs out there with basically said, "What do you think about the designs?" And basically, as you can see, they're all pink. And I got 41,000 views, 190 comments. Of those 190 comments, 189 says, "Don't use pink." So one woman said use pink, and she was very much in the minority. So as a result of it, we basically did not use pink, and we started using kind of blue and red and black and grey instead. Because basically, I'd assumed, basically wrongly assumed that pink is synonymous with women. Basically, people would like that. They didn't. They found it patronizing. So I basically changed it. Could have made a fundamental error, because if I'd launched it based in being pink, or this one here, and basically, because someone said to me, that's great, but what about an Asian woman? What about a black woman? What about this woman? Oh my God, I can't have like 65 different designs of every woman in the world. That's not going to work. So disregarded that one, for example. So it was great because you got really good feedback from professionals who had a genuine opinion and genuine knowledge of the subject. So don't underestimate LinkedIn as being a powerful tool for research and for crowdsourcing. It's really, really powerful. And you do want to share your passions in a business context as well. So I talk about, for example, Guns N' Roses, and they were, not professional there whatsoever. I saw them when I was 18 years old. They came off like 20 minutes, smashed their guitars up, were totally high on drugs, and basically all stormed off. Axl didn't arrive for like 3 hours. And now, basically in Hong Kong, they come in at 8, they leave at 11, they pick up $500 million. So they obviously learned throughout the years what to do as a business. But I talk about in terms of brand loyalty. How many people can actually learn from a brand like that in terms of loyalty? And so it's a business story, but it's enabled me to share things about my passion as well. And then you want to amplify your thoughts outside of LinkedIn. So I kind of use this adage of 1-9-90. So again, this is a Facebook thing, it's an Instagram thing, it's a LinkedIn thing. You want to be one of the 1%. So the 1% is 1% of people on social media create. Only 1%. So 9% of people like, share, and comment. And then 90% of people do nothing at all. 0. This applies to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, across the board. So you want to be one of the 1%. So a great example is Stephanie. Stephanie is a marvelous example of a Singaporean woman who's an entrepreneur who runs a law firm here, who basically is one of the 1%. Because basically what she does is she has to be really, really careful. Talk about content. She has to be really, really careful because she's got lots of clients, very conservative, very government conservative, lots of government clients. She's also in a law firm, which is dominated by men in Singapore, for example, so she has to stand out. As you can see, she tends to stand out. She's also got purple hair, and she's fantastic, but she also delivers. So when she's in the Business Times, she actually copies and pastes from the Business Times into LinkedIn. Now, why she's doing that is to make sure you know that she's a leader. Her opinions count. As a woman in the legal sector who's leading a law firm, she wants you to know that she matters and her opinion matters. So she's not frightened of actually going out there and telling people about it. So she's self-promoting, but she's doing it with purpose and passion and with conviction. And as a result of it, she gets lots of engagement as a result of it. But she's also letting you know that the Business Times also consider her to be powerful and important and interesting. So she's on, say, the American Lawyer, she puts it there as well. So she's really, really good at actually doing this. So she's taking it from the Business Times, which nobody reads, and puts it onto LinkedIn, which everybody reads. Because obviously Business Times is a closed wall. It's like Wall Street Journal. Whereas obviously LinkedIn, potentially she could have reached 2.3 million people in Singapore alone by sharing it on LinkedIn. You can do PDFs as well. So I did an interview, for example, I put it on there and got like 11,000 views. And it's been on something like the British Chamber site in Hong Kong, for example, or Tokyo. You can personalize curated content. So you can take content, for example, and then share it with a nice little introduction. I particularly like Mark Ritson. If you're interested in marketing and marketing theory and facts, he's very challenging. He's very much a similar brand to mine in terms of putting himself out there. And I like this quote that he put in there about content marketing. You should follow this. It'll be quite engaging. He says if you go through his comments, 30 people support him, 38 people have no opinion, and 32 people think he's a tosser. And that's what he thinks is fantastic engagement. If he doesn't get that, if everyone agrees with him, or no one has an opinion, he's failed. And that's the essence of content marketing, effectively. If you really want to be spiky, which you might not agree with, you're frowning, but because it might be too risky, but he's a marketing professor, people respect his opinion, he gets paid to go around the world having his opinion about marketing, but he backs it up with facts as well. And you do want to amplify your media appearances. Like, so for example, I was on Money FM with Glenn, for example, a few weeks ago. So I promoted it beforehand, and then just beforehand, and then during. And then afterwards, I took the video and the recording and put it on LinkedIn. Now, the reason for doing that is because no one listens to Money FM. So if I just left it to Money FM, basically people are going, huh, great interview, Chris, didn't get that. I was working at the time. I was doing something much more important. So I put the interview onto LinkedIn itself. People actually watched it and viewed it. So use your content in different ways. Take content elsewhere and put it onto LinkedIn. It has more credibility. And then amplify your event appearance as well. So beforehand, So I did a talk like this in Scape, and I went to the toilet beforehand, and my picture was in the toilet. It was like, my photograph's never been in the toilet, and then basically, it was during it, you do pictures, and then afterwards as well, you basically talk about it at the same time. So you tag people and do that. So make sure you're exploiting your events, your keynote appearances, for example, if you're doing keynotes, to make sure you get the traction as a result of it. So you should obviously share videos, and you should tag influencers. So this is how you tag. There you go. So you basically do a little @ symbol. So if you take a picture of me today, for example, or this, you can tag me, and now get notifications saying you have tagged me. If I share it, you go into my followers. So it can be a very, very powerful way of actually doing it, but only if the person like you has actually tagged who then reacts. Obviously, if you don't react, it doesn't go into your feed. And it only goes into your feed if you like it, share it, and comment. This is how you do it. Just a little @ symbol, and then the name comes up, and you basically put the name there, and it basically gets notifications. So if I go to an event, for example, you can see here, I tend to tag people. So every single person here wants to be tagged, apart from Su Yan, for example. So people do, as you can see, most people don't really care. Most people are quite happy to be tagged. And then you get more likes as a result of it, because if you share a photograph, you make sure you know that everybody in that photograph is basically known about it, so they can then share it with their followers. You get more power as a result of it. And then you want to combine that with hashtagging topics. So basically hashtags is now a LinkedIn thing, has been for about a year now. So you want to think about your hashtags. What do you want to be known for? How do you want to share your content with hashtags? So you can see like social media, for example, social media marketing, social selling, social security, social impact, social security in Singapore. It's like, try to explain social security to a Singaporean. That's right. The government gives lots of money for no reason whatsoever. So this is basically your ability to communicate how you want to, and then if you basically follow that particular hashtag, like personal branding or social media, it then pops up in your feed as a result of it. So think about how you want to be found and how you want your content to be found as a result of it. Now, video is really, 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 really important. I can't overemphasize how much video is phenomenally important now. LinkedIn now promotes videos as #1. So if you do native video on LinkedIn, like if you do a video of me today, for example, of you today talking to somebody else here, and post it natively on LinkedIn, it will get promoted by LinkedIn. The algorithm will kick in, you promote it above everything else. So video is really, really, really important. And literally, if you go on your phone, for example, you'll see it has a little video section here, and you can now just upload it directly to LinkedIn. You don't need to put it on YouTube or Vimeo or anybody else, just do it directly on LinkedIn. It has a 10-minute limit, so you can only do 10 minutes. But it's actually worthwhile doing it and playing around with it. I'm going to show you an example. So we changed office about 6 months ago, and we basically did a video on YouTube, got a massive 35 views, and I have no idea who those people are, because you don't have to register to be on YouTube, but you have to register to be on LinkedIn. So the data's on LinkedIn, it's not on YouTube. So the same post, the same video at the same time, got 20,000 views on LinkedIn, 77 comments, 174 likes, and I can see who those people are. I can also see who those people are who came to my profile as a result of seeing this video, which again, you can't do on YouTube. So YouTube is important in terms of being a host, but don't use it in terms of engagement or B2B marketing, and don't expect to use the data, because it's on LinkedIn. So you do want to tell stories, for example. So you look at this one here, for example, 340,000 views of someone telling a story on LinkedIn. So video is phenomenally important. The engagement level is just amazing. So sharing some good news, for example, doing demonstrations, 5,000 or 6,000 views. Share adverts and make a point. Again, Mark Ritson, 220,000 views. Pose questions, 30,000 views. Share achievements, 82,000 views. Share bad news even, 24,000 views. Look at, for example, consumer videos, put a B2B twist on them. It's got 10,000, 11,000 views. Share the news first. So Anthony James, for example, in Australia is very good at doing this. So you take a video of a story that's breaking, put it on LinkedIn first, and we'll get millions of views. 126,000 views. He has got 1.7 million views of one of his videos. Just phenomenal amount of traction. Show people interesting things. 1.4 million views. Have you seen a click farm? It's all about click farm. 1.4 million views of a video on LinkedIn. Just phenomenal. Show cost-effective marketing. I love this. This basically guy is I think it's a sign cleaner. So he goes around cleaning signs as a stunt. And this video got like 507,000 views. Because he's talking about how it's guerrilla marketing and smart marketing and so forth. So it's like, the simplest things, the cleverest things actually do work on LinkedIn, get thousands and thousands and thousands of views. Literally, he's got 10,000 likes, 46 views, but it's a phenomenal amount of engagement you get on LinkedIn. And of course, you know who these people are. If you're a thought leader like Bill Gates, you get 1 million views. So in terms of attraction, in terms of engagement, in terms of marketing, it's an amazing platform for video. Things like reports. So did you know, for example, you should be abandoning Google and Facebook and doing Pornhub? Because apparently Pornhub is the best platform in the world. People stay on there longer. Average site for 10 minutes. If you try and get Pornhub there in Singapore, you can't. It's banned here. Apparently friends tell me. And they tell me that you have to switch on your VPN, just like you do when trying to get good Netflix. So employee benefits as well. Look at this from Oracle, from Adobe. You know, they've got a running track in the UK, for example, 400,000 views. You know, just simple things like that. People are interested in kind of employee benefits that people get, for example, in different areas. Interviews, for example, you know, about things like company page authentically, like Emirates, for example. But it beats paid-for pages. Careers pages don't really work on LinkedIn. HSB, you know, page here, no likes, no comments, no shares. It has to be authentic. So even on the company page itself, it has to be totally authentic. You know, Simone Heng, for example, is a great example of authenticity on LinkedIn, in that she's basically a radio presenter that's turning her brand into a keynote speaker. So she actually does lots of posts like this, for example, of her dancing in the studio. And she gets literally thousands and thousands of views, like, you know, and likes and comments. So it's a phenomenal amount of engagement she gets. And when I tagged her, for example, as a good example, I get access to her followers if she likes and comments my post. So she came into our office, to my team, did a few stories, I shared it, and it got like 147 likes or whatever, and it got 15,000 views. Interestingly, I can see who her followers were and who my followers were. They're a very different kind of followers, shall we say. If you look at her followers, you'll see what I mean. I think they'd moved from Instagram to LinkedIn to follow her and thought they got the same kind of content. But you know, she gets lots of engagement. She's changing her brand as a result of it. You know, Sally's very good at doing this. Sally's quite famous or infamous, depending on your point of view, in terms of doing this. So she appears to do nothing else but share things on LinkedIn in terms of videos and comments. But she gets phenomenal interaction, literally thousands of likes, thousands of comments and views. She does these quite annoying things, which I don't actually like, which basically people like Oleg have made very famous, and I basically unfollow people like that because it's really boring. It's just basically a way of getting traction. And then she's looking, you know, thoughtful, authentically. And then she's putting, you know, shares up there, but videos are the one that actually work the well. And you're thinking, well, Simone and Sally are pretty. They get lots of traction because they're basically pretty on there. Well, you could be just as authentic as well. You can do videos that are 10 minutes long, they get 10,000 views, and you can look like this. You don't have to be pretty to do this kind of stuff. So, I mean, I did a review, for example, of the book called The Reputation Game. And it's a brilliant book about your reputation is about what other people say about you, not what you say about yourself. And I basically did a video on a Sunday, and I tagged, this is where tagging's good, the authors. And they, on a Sunday, saw I tagged them and wrote back, phenomenal. The best speed date summary of the book I've ever seen. Because they liked the fact that I actually taken the time to do this, did a 10-minute video of the book itself, and actually did it. So Rupert Younger also did the same thing. So that's the benefit of tagging. That's used in a responsible way, I would say. Because I was actually doing that. And it does work, because you're basically saying, thanks so much for writing the book, it's really good, and people can actually go and buy this book. It's actually complimentary. So that's a positive way of actually doing it. And you can do things that are an hour long. So the way to do it an hour long is you share, obviously, the link from YouTube. It's not native. It's a link from YouTube, because LinkedIn has a limit of 10 minutes. So again, Mark Ritson's a good example of this. He does lectures that are an hour and a half long, which are worth watching. Because they're basically free, and this guy charges like $25,000 for a talk. So if you can watch one of his free talks, it's absolutely fantastic. So you do it on LinkedIn, and he gets literally thousands of likes and comments and views, because it's actually worth watching. It's like literally going to a lecture and actually listening about LinkedIn. And then you should end up with, obviously, screen grabs like this. So what I'd encourage you to do is do screen grabs. The reason I do screen grabs is I don't like spamming people. I'll never send an invite without an explanation as to why I want to connect with somebody. I always personalize it. So you never just go, because basically that gets you banned by LinkedIn. If people then do, I don't know, they get you banned by LinkedIn. So you always personalize it, saying, great to meet you at the IDC event, and talk about that, or whatever conference you're in or event you're in, do it that way around. Now we're going to look at some of your profiles. See, is he or she here? Yeah. Is this yours? This is yours. Why no picture? Where's your photo? No, there's no picture because you've ticked a box that says only your first connections can see your photograph. So you need to untick that box. So, Okay, so the answer to people who say that to me says, have you heard of Google? Because what happens is if I basically take this and I Google you and I do an image search for you, you know what comes up first? Your LinkedIn picture. So people have tried hiding that, so I don't want to do that. So, well, you've only heard of Google. So there's no point in doing it, is my point. You need to put it on there. Yeah, no, Google search into image.
Yeah, I have blocked it.
You've blocked a Google search?
Yeah. So
how do you block Google search? Really? You block Google?
Yeah, you can't. You can't find my picture on Google.
Really? That's a challenge now. Matthew, can you guys try and find her on Google? But honestly, we would encourage people to have obvious reasons of social selling, engagement, personal branding, and so forth. And I'm curious about the picture. What's the picture?
Books.
Books. Any particular reason?
I just like books.
Okay, fair enough. So obviously, it's basically telling a story about your passion for books, for example, is good in a business context. And then obviously having a photograph there. And even things like having some keywords here is really good, for example. And the summary section is very kind of quite small, with no kind of media. So you can put some media in there, some of the great events you organize, for example. And then in terms of the, many people say what they do at the company, which is what you've done, not what the company does. So you've done event management, lead all planning activities, develop an event strategy, fantastic. But if I don't know what IDC does, you've not helped me. So you have to describe what you do and then the company, do both. And then have a link, for example, to the website or to the YouTube channel or to the bits you organize, like the events section, for example, that show people what you've done from an events point of view for IDC. So you can combine the two and have a link. And then you're not showing any content. So you need to be obviously content marketing about your events, which obviously you have content. How to work, to creating black marketing, and then having like